Hello, Internet. Welcome to Fractal. I'm Paul. Joining me, as always, is
Dave. Hello, Paul.
Hello, David. So it's 2017. We are wanting to start the year off talking to you about things that get us excited. We are wanting to put past us the negativity of 2016 in terms of, well, and especially in terms of DC movies. Frankly, that's what we're here to talk about today is DC.
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
So, but there's bright spots. There's new DC movies coming. We have Wonder Woman. We have Justice League. And we have maybe The Flash.
Maybe.
So why are we even talking about being excited about these things when they're all kind of in the meh category?
You're kind of losing me here.
Yeah. But let me give you something about the DC universe that you can get excited about, and that is the DC animated universe.
Ooh.
They have movies galore that are amazing, and they have 3 very good titles coming up this year that we are very excited about. Why don't we talk about the first one, Dave?
Well, the first one, which is coming up, I believe in February, that I am personally very excited about is Justice League Dark, the animated one. For people who don't know, Justice League Dark is kind of the magic Justice League. And the version of the animated movie coming out will contain Zatanna, Deadman, Etrigan the Demon, Constantine, John Constantine, a.k.a. Hellblazer, Swamp Thing,
Yes.
and Black Orchid. And Batman pulls them all together to deal with some magical threat coming. Because the idea, of course, is that there is nobody really on the Justice League that can deal with magical threats.
Of course.
Superman in particular, in the comic books, it's always played up that magic is one of his big weaknesses. He's very vulnerable to magic.
As we see in the trailer.
Yeah. So these are the magic guys that are coming in to deal. They're kind of like the Doctor Strange of the DC universe, right?
Absolutely.
And I love so many of these characters. I love John Constantine. He's one of my absolute favorite DC characters of all time. Swamp Thing is fantastic. If you haven't read like Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore's runs on that, you should.
Absolutely.
Deadman can be fantastic and also super funny. The Etrigan actually can be hilariously written.
Yeah.
So they're all really interesting, very colorful characters. There's a lot of potential here for a really interesting, fun movie.
And if that alone doesn't have you excited, if you are familiar with the Constantine show on NBC or in the CW on Arrow, the actor who played John Constantine on those shows, Matt Ryan, is actually coming back to voice Constantine in this show. So if you're a fan of the character there...
Who I thought did a really, really good portrayal of Constantine, by the way.
He did, so that's exciting for me. The second very exciting DC animated movie coming up is Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. Now, the Teen Titans comic went through ups and downs in its whole history, but one of the highlights was in the 1980s when Marv Wolfman and George Perez took over the reins, and they called them the New Teen Titans. And they kind of shook off the shackles of some of the corporate meddling that was going on, and they got to write some really great stories, and this is one of the highlights. Especially memorable for me, this was the story where Dick Grayson shed the Robin costume and became Nightwing. Now, given that this is a sequel to last year's Justice League versus Teen Titans, Damian is the Robin in the story, so I don't think we'll see Nightwing, but that's just one of many reasons that initial story was very compelling. It's also going to be a great introduction to you to, if you're familiar with the comic, you obviously know Slade Wilson, who is Deathstroke.
Yes.
We'll fix that one. Slade Wilson, who's Deathstroke. He is the main antagonist in the comic book story. We'll see how closely it follows. But if you saw the post-credit sequence in that Teen Titans versus Justice League, you saw a hint of Terra. And Terra is one of the main drivers of this story. So it's an amazing comic book story, and I can't wait to see it adapted.
I think, too, people who are only familiar with the various animated versions of the Teen Titans, and there's been a few,
Right.
will not be familiar with how edgy at the time the Teen Titans comics were.
Oh, man.
They were considerably more mature than anything you're going to see in the comic books.
Right.
And dealt with like drug use and sexual themes and a lot of stuff that does not come up in Teen Titans Go.
No, although I'm hoping Starfire and Damian don't
get
have
it on
the same kind of relationship as they did.
Yeah. Well,
Dick Grayson. Anyway.
the last movie that I am very excited about, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very excited about, is a as yet untitled but still coming out in 2017 Harley Quinn and Batman movie.
Another Harley Quinn movie?
Another Harley Quinn movie. Now, the reason I'm particularly excited about this one is that it is being written by Bruce Timm. Anybody who doesn't know who Bruce Timm is, he has been involved in the DC animated stuff since the beginning, way back when the animated series were coming out in the 90s, like the original Batman animated series, which is fantastic. He was the main creative force behind that. And he, along with Paul Dini, created Harley Quinn. He is actually the guy that came up with the idea for the character Harley Quinn.
That's right. She didn't start in the comics. She started in Bruce Timm's
animated series. Yeah. And was there, he himself had a hand in all of the original Harley Quinn stories. So if there's anybody who knows the character Harley Quinn and how to do her justice and portray her correctly, it's Bruce Timm. And he's done a great job with all kinds of animated stuff. I'm very excited to see what he does with this story.
Absolutely. And as a fan of the character as she went into Suicide Squad and in the other into the other aspects of Harley Quinn in the comics, I'm very curious to see if Bruce Timm will continue on the character from where he left her, or which kind of left off some of the psychological damage that is in the more current version, or if she jumps on the board and incorporates all that. There's no wrong answer. Either way, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Now, some of you who haven't really watched any of the DC animated stuff might be a little skeptical about how we're going on and on about how amazing these cartoons are going to be. Well, here's a couple DC animated movies you should check out, and then you too can understand why we are excited about these upcoming animated movies. Paul, hit me up.
That's right. Well, if you saw the Suicide Squad and were underwhelmed, let me point you to the original Suicide Squad movie, which was amazing, and it was called Batman Assault on Arkham. It had many of the same characters, not entirely the same Suicide Squad team, but it was a much better thought out, much better written, much better acted. It's the Suicide Squad movie that everyone deserves to see, so go check that one out.
You watch that movie, that's the Suicide Squad from the comic books.
Absolutely.
That's the real Suicide Squad, and the real Amanda Waller, who is way cooler than what you get in the movies.
No dancing enchantress, I'm sorry.
Sorry. But you get a really good Harley Quinn and a really good Captain Boomerang, who's one of my favorites.
And if you were disappointed in Batman versus Superman, there are a lot of DC animated movies that deal with the relationship between Batman and Superman. But let me point you to just one. Batman, Superman, Public Enemies.
Great movie.
The two of them, they start off fighting each other, but they end up having to team up against all of the villains in the entire universe, the DC universe. And again, just a much better example of how the Batman-Superman relationship should be handled, both as antagonists and friends.
And I'll also point out, if you can get your hands on them and binge watch them, the original Batman animated series and the Justice League animated series are both really good, fun shows.
Right. Sometimes on Netflix, sometimes not. But get a hold of them.
They're all, like, Batman, I think, is 5 or 6 seasons, and Justice League is 4. So, no, not every episode's gold. But there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you're as equally excited about at least one aspect of DC cinematic experience in 2017.
You know what, Paul? I am excited about these animated movies, and I want to hear more of your thoughts. How do I do that?
You know what? There's a whole comment section just below this video.
Right.
You should type your comments right in there, but while you're on your way, while the cursor's dragging past, you should click on like to let other people know that they should watch our videos, and then you should hit subscribe, because if you're looking forward to those videos, you should really be looking forward to ours at Fractal.
Mm-hmm. We're doing really good work, really cutting edge stuff. All right, that's all the time we have right now. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed. I'm David.
I'm Paul.
And this is Fractal, signing off.